Hello friends, today we are going to solve previous year's questions of NEET from chapter 3 of Biology, Plant Kingdom. Question 1. Which one pair of examples will correctly represent the grouping of Spermatophyta according to one of the schemes of classifying plants? A. Acacia, sugarcane, B. Pinus cycas, C. Rhizopus straticum, or D. Ginkgo or Pisum? It is option D, Ginkgo or Pisum. Plants reproducing by spores such as mosses and ferns are grouped under the general term A. Cryptogams, B. Bryophytes, C. Sporophytes, or D. Thallophytes? It is A. Cryptogams. Which one of the following is categorized under living fossils? A. Pinus, B. Cycas, C. Selaginella, or D. Metasequoia? It is B. Cycas. Question 4. Which one of the following pairs of plants are not seed producers? A. Fern and Funaria, B. Funaria and Ficus, C. Ficus and Chlamydomonas, or D. Punica and Pinus? It is option A. Fern and Funaria. Which of the following propagates through leaf tip? A. Walking fern, B. Sprout leaf plant, C. Macantia, or D. Moss? It is A. Walking fern. Question 6. Which one of these is a living fossil? A. Cycas, B. Moss, C. Saccharomyces, or D. Sparagera? It is A. Cycas. Question 7. Top-shaped multiciliate male gametes and the mature seed, which bears only one embryo with two cotyledons, are characteristic features of A. Cycads, B. Conifers, C. Polypetalous angiosperms, or D. Gamopetalous angiosperms? It is A. Cycads. Question 8. Match the items in column 1 with those in column 2. Peritrichous flagellation, it is shown by Escherichia coli. Living fossil, it is Ginkgo. Rhizophore, Selaginella contains it. The smallest flowering plant is Wolffia, and largest perennial algae is Macrocystis, so it is option A. Question 9. In a moss, the sporophyte manufactures food for itself as well as for the gametophyte, is partially parasitic on gametophyte, produces gametes that give rise to gametophyte. D. Arises from a spore produced by gametophyte. So the correct option is B. 10. Conifers differ from grasses in A. Formation of endosperm before fertilization, production of seeds from ovules, lack of xylem trichids, or absence of pollen tubes. Correct option is A. 11. Moss peat is used as a packaging material for sending flowers and live plants to distant places because it serves as a disinfectant, it is easily available, it is hygroscopic, or D. It reduces transpiration. Correct option is option C. It is hygroscopic, which means water absorbing property. Question 12. In the prothallus of vascular cryptogam, the antherozoids and eggs mature at different times. As a result, there is high degree of sterility. One can conclude that the plant is apomictic, self-fertilization is prevented, or D. There is no change in success rate of fertilization. The correct option is C. Self-fertilization is prevented. 13. If you are asked to classify various algae into distinct groups, which of the following characters you should choose? Nature of stored food material in the cell, structural organization of thallus, chemical composition of the cell wall, or D. Types of pigments present in the cell. So we choose option D. Question 14. Flagellated male gametes are present in all the three of which of the following sects? A. Zygnema saprolignia hydrilla, B. Fucus marsilia and calotropis, C. Riccia diopteris and cycas, or D. Anthoceros, Funaria and Sparagera. The correct option is C. Riccia diopteris and cycas. 15. Spore dissemination is in some liverworts is aided by A. Endiosium, B. Calyptra, C. Peristome teeth, or D. Elyters. It is D. Elyters. In gymnosperms, pollen chamber represents cavity in ovule in which pollen grains are stored after pollination. B. An opening in the mega gametophyte through which pollen tube approaches the egg. C. The microsporangium in which pollen grains develop, or D. A cell in pollen grain in which the sperms are formed. The correct option is C. 17. Select one of the following pairs of important features distinguishing Neetum from Cycas and Pinus and showing affinities with angiosperms. Perianth and two integuments. B. Embryo development and apical meristem. C. Absence of resin duct and leaf venation, or D. Presence of vessel elements and absence of archegonia. Correct option is option D. 18. In which of the following male and female gametophyte do not have free living independent existence? A. Polytrichum, B. Cedrus, C. Pteris, or D. Funaria. Correct option is B. Cedrus. 19. Which of the following is heterosporous? Adiantum, Equisetum, Rhaptoris, or Salvinia? The correct option is D. Salvinia. 20. Which one of the following has haplontic life cycle? Polytrichum, Astilago, wheat, D. Funaria. Correct option is D. Funaria. 21. Which one of the following is considered important in the development of seed habit? Heterospory, B. Haplonic life cycle, C. Free living gametophyte, or D. Dependent saprophyte? Correct option is A. Heterospory. 22. Mannitol is stored food in Porphyra, Ficus, Gracilaria, or Chara? Correct option is option B. Fucus. Which of the following is vascular cryptogam? A. Ginkgo, B. Marchantia, C. Cedrus, or D. Equisetum? D. Equisetum. 24. Male and female gametophytes are independent and free living in A. Mustard, B. Castor, C. Pinus, or D. Sphagnum? So D. Sphagnum is the correct answer. 25. Algae have cells made up of A. Cellulose, galactans and mannans, B. Hemicellulose, pectins and proteins, C. Pectins, cellulose and proteins, or D. Cellulose, hemicellulose and pectins? Correct option is A. Cellulose, galactans and mannans. 26. Examine the figures A, B, C and D. In which of the four options all the items A, B, C and D are correct? So A is Selaginella, B is Equisetum, C is Salvinia and D is Ginkgo. So option C is correct. 27. Archegoniophore is present in A. Marchantia, B. Chara, C. Adiantum, or D. Funaria? It is A. Marchantia. Compared with the gametophytes of the bryophytes, the gametophytes of vascular plants tend to be A. Smaller but to have larger sex organs, B. Larger but to have smaller sex organs, C. Larger and to have larger sex organs, or D. Smaller and to have smaller sex organs. So the correct option is D. 29. The gametophyte is not an independent free living generation in A. Polytrichum, B. Adiantum, C. Marchantia, or D. Pinus? So the correct option is D. Pinus. 30. Consider the following four statements whether they are correct or wrong. A. Sporophyte in the liverworts is more elaborate than that in mosses. B. Salvinia is heterosporous. C. The life cycle in all seed bearing plants is diplontic. D. In Pinus, male and female cones are born on different trees. The two wrong statements together are. So the two wrong statements are A and D. So the option is B. Because the sporophyte in mosses is more elaborate than that in liverworts. 31. Selaginella and Salvinia are considered to represent a significant step towards evolution of seed habit because female gametophyte is free and gets dispersed like seeds. B. Female gametophyte is free and gets dispersed like seeds and lacks archegonia. C. Megaspores possess endosperm and embryo surrounded by seed coat. D. Embryo develops in female gametophyte which is retained on parent sporophyte. So the correct option is D. 32. Examine the figure given below and select the correct option giving all the four parts A, B, C and D rightly identified. So A is Archegoniophore, B is female thallus, C is Demacup and D are rhizoids. So the correct option is A. 33. Cycas and Adiantum resemble each other in having seeds, B. Motile sperms, C. Cambium or D. vessels. The correct option is B. Motile sperms. 34. Which of the following is a correct statement? A. Pteridophyte gametophyte has a protonymal and leafy stage. B. In gymnosperms, female gametophyte is free living. C. Antheridophores and archegoniophores are present in pteridophytes. Or D. Origin of seed habit can be traced in pteridophytes. So the correct option is option D. 35. The highest number of species amongst the following in the world is represented by A. Fungi, B. Mosses, C. Algae or D. Liverworts. Correct option is A. Fungi. 36. Which one of the following is common to multicellular fungi, filamentous algae and protonema of mosses? A. Diplontic life cycle, B. Members of kingdom Plantae, C. Mode of nutrition, D. Multiplication by fragmentation. And the correct option is D. Multiplication by fragmentation is common. 37. Read the following 5 statements A to B and answer as asked next to the question. A. In Equisetum, the female gametophyte is retained on the parent sporophyte. B. In Ginkgo, male gametophyte is not independent. C. The sporophyte in Riccia is more developed than that in Polytrichum. D. Sexual reproduction in Volvox is isogamous. E. The spores of slime molds lack cell wall. How many of the above statements are correct? So only one statement is correct, and that is And B, option B is the only one statement correct here. Statement B. So option D, only one statement, that is B, is correct. 6 and 38. In which of the following pairs is wrongly matched? A. Ginkgo archigonia, B. Salvinia prothallus, C. Viroids RNA, D. Mustard synergids. So the mismatched pair is B. Salvinia prothallus. 39. Select the wrong statement. In oomycetes, female gamete is smaller and motile, while the male gamete is larger and non-motile. B. Chlamydomonas exhibits both isogamy and fucus shows an oogamy. C. Isogametes are similar in structure, function and behavior. D. Anisogametes differ either in structure, function or behavior. So the wrong statement is option A. 40. Isogamous condition with non-flagellated gametes is found in A. Volvox, B. Fucus, C. Chlamydomonas, D. Spirogyra. D. Spirogyra is the correct option. 41. Read the following statements A to E and answer the question which follows them. A. In liverworts, mosses and ferns, gametophyte are free living. B. Gymnosperms and some ferns are heterosporous. C. Sexual reproduction in Fucus, Volvox and Albugo is oogamous. D. The sporophyte in liverworts is more elaborate than that in mosses. E. Both Pinus and Mercantia are dioecious. How many of the above statements are correct? Statement A is correct, statement B is correct, statement C is correct. So only 3 are correct. Because the sporophyte in mosses is more elaborate than that in liverworts, and Pinus is monoecious and Mercantia is dioecious. 42. Monoecious plant of Chara shows occurrence of A. Upper Antheridium and lower Oogonium on the same plant. B. Upper Oogonium and lower Antheridium on the same plant. C. Antheridophore and Archegoniophore on the same plant. D. Stamen and carpel on the same plant. So the correct option is option B. 43. The plant body is thyloid in A. Sphagnum, B. Salvinia, C. Mercantia, D. Funaria. The correct option is C. Mercantia. Which one of the following is wrongly matched? A. Spirogyra, motile gametes, B. Sargassum chlorophyll C. Basidiomycetes puffballs, D. Nostoc water blooms. And the correct option is option A. Spirogyra, motile gametes. Question 45. What is common in all the 3 Funaria, Dryopteris and Ginkgo? A. Presence of archegonia, B. Well-developed vascular tissues, C. Independent gametophytes, D. Independent sporophyte. And the correct option is A. Presence of archegonia is common. Which of the following is wrong about Chara? A. Upper Oogonium and lower round Antheridium, B. Globule and nucleus present on the same plant, C. Upper Antheridium and lower Oogonium, D. Globule is male reproductive structure. So the wrong statement is C. Upper Antheridium and lower Oogonium. 47. Which of the following is responsible for peat formation? So it is D. Sphagnum. 48. An oxygenic photosynthesis is characteristic of A. Rhodospirillum, B. Spirogyra, C. Chlamydomonas, D. Alba. So A. Rhodospirillum. Which of the following statements is wrong? Chlorella and spirulina are used as space food. B. Mannitol is stored food in rhodophyceae. C. Algin and carrageen are products of algae. D. Agar-agar is obtained from Geridium and Gracilaria. So the wrong statement is B. 50. In which of the following gametophyte is not independent free living? Pteris, Pinus, C. Funaria, D. Mercantia. So B in Pinus. 51. Read the following statements A to E and select option with all correct statements. A. Mosses and lichens are the first organisms to colonize a bare rock. It's correct. B. Selaginella is a homosporous pteridophyte, which is wrong. C. Corallite roots in cycas have VAM, which is vesicular avascular mycorrhiza. D. Main plant body in bryophytes is gametophytic, whereas in pteridophytes it is sporophytic. E. In gymnosperms, male and female gametes are present within sporangia, located on sporophyte. So the correct options are A, D and E. So it is option A. 52. Male gametes are flagellated in A. Ectocarpus, B. Spirogyra, C. Polysiphonia, D. Anabina. So it is A. Ectocarpus. 53. Select the correct statement. A. Sequoia is one of the tallest trees. B. The leaves of gymnosperms are not well adapted to extremes of climate. C. Gymnosperms are both homosporous and heterosporous. D. Salvinia, Ginkgo and Pinus are all gymnosperms. So the correct statement is A. 54. In bryophytes and pteridophytes, transport of male gametes requires B. Water. Conifers are adapted to tolerate extreme environmental conditions because of broad, hardly leaves, superficial stomata, thick cuticle, or presence of vessels. What is thick cuticle? 56. Which one of the following statements is wrong? A. Algae increase the level of dissolved oxygen in the immediate environment. B. Algin is obtained from red algae and carrageen from banana algae. C. Agar agar is obtained from Gelidium or Gracilaria. D. Laminaria and sargassum are used as food. So the wrong statement is B. 57. An example of colonial alga is A. Volvox, B. Ulothrix, C. Sparagora, or D. Chlorella. It is A. Volvox. 58. Zygotic meiosis is characteristic of A. Fucus, B. Funaria, C. Chlamydomonas, or D. Marcantia. It is C. Chlamydomonas. 59. Life cycles of Ectocarpus and Fucus are respectively a diplontic or haplodiplotic, haplodiplotic or diplontic, haplodiplotic or haplontic, or haplontic and diplontic. So it is B. Haplodiplotic and diplontic. 60. Select the mismatch. A. Cycas dioecious, B. Salvinia heterosporus, C. Equisetum homosporus, or D. Pinus, which is dioecious. So the mismatch is D because Pinus is monoecious. Which one of the following statements is correct? A. Ovules are not enclosed by ovary-walling gymnosperms. B. Selaginella is heterosporous while Salvinia is homosporous. C. Horsetails are gymnosperms. Or D. Stems are usually unbranched in both Cycas and Cedrus. So the correct statement is option A. 62. Which one is wrongly matched? A. Uniflagellate gametes Polysiphonia. B. Biflagellate zoospores brown algae. C. Gemmacups Marcantia. Or D. Unicellular organisms Chlorella. So the mismatch is A. 63. After karyogamy followed by meiosis, spores are produced exogenously in A. Neurospora, B. Alternaria, C. Agaricus, or D. Saccharomyces. It is C. Agaricus. 64. Pinus cannot germinate and establish without fungal association. This is because its seeds contain inhibitors that prevent germination. B. Its embryo is immature. C. It has obligate association with mycorrhizae. D. It has very hard seed coat. So the correct option is C. 65. From evolutionary point of view, retention of the female gametophyte with developing young embryo on the plant sporophyte for some time is first observed in A. Gymnosperms, B. liverworts, C. mosses, or D. pteridophytes. D. pteridophytes. 66. Which of the following pairs is of unicellular algae? A. Anabina and Volvox, B. Chlorella and Spirulina, C. Laminaria and Sargassum, D. Gelidium and Gracilaria. So 66 is option B. Chlorella and Spirulina are unicellular algae. 67. Floridian starch has structures similar to A. Mannitol and algin, B. Laminarin and cellulose, C. Starch and cellulose, or D. Amylopectin and glycogen. So it is D. Amylopectin and glycogen. It is highly branched structure. 68. Stabili or cones are found in A. Marcantia, B. Equisetum, C. Salvinia, or D. Teres. So the correct option is B. Equisetum. So that's it, guys. We got 68 questions. So like, share and subscribe the video for more content.